Welcome to today's video. So today we're talking about this Artistico 48 half pan palette. So this is a beginner's palette. I got it off Amazon. I will link it below, and you can see this is brought to you by the box desk today. So I got this off Amazon, and they're calling it 48 half pans or 48 colors, but they're more like quarter pans. I'll show you that and everything, but it's quite a nice set. So I'll explain a little bit about why I got it, but it came here with some sheets of this 300 GSM watercolor paper. So it comes in this really beautiful tin. So it's kind of an aqua color, and it's got this like raised silver pattern on it, and it's got a latch, and I think this will be perfect for storing some colors. So we'll go into that, but you can see here inside that it comes with like a water brush and just another brush, a pencil, a pencil sharpener and all that. So there's a little sticker here saying that you have a creative superpowers, and then there is this kind of plastic sheet that kind of shows you the colors there, which I think you could use like as a ruler. And then here we have the actual colors. So it's quite a lovely set for beginners. So I know that some of you are beginners, and then I think this will be a good set. And then I'm kind of showing you here now. So the one on the left that I'm opening, and I do have like a swatch for this, but I've changed out a few of the colors, so I might re-swatch it. But basically we're kind of gonna do a rejigging of the palettes here. So this one on the left is going to become the old Masters palette, and then any of the kind of handmade watercolors are going to end up going in the new aqua one. So I got this one off Amazon too, and you can see here that it's supposed to have like quite a large well in the middle for paintbrushes and things, but I figured out that if you just kind of put the half pans in there and then move these kind of pieces into the middle, it holds it all in place there really nicely. So you can see it's a kind of a similar palette, except that the one on the right cost me, I think, $18. It was like on a super sale, so I got it for $18. And then the one on the left, has been several years of collecting paints, and it's a couple of $100. So or like more than that, probably several $100. So but you can see they're kind of similar, and so here you can see this is like a half pan, and these are like kind of little quarter pans, so they're quite small, but it's actually surprised me when I was watching this video. It's quite good quality paint. So I just go through here and drop some water on all the colors, and I'm using my Escoda Reserva number 6, which I will link below, which I really love. This is my favorite brush, my go-to brush. If you have a spray bottle, I would say if you have like a plastic palette like this is where you can spray it. But if you have a metal palette like the one on the left, it will rust very, very quickly. So, I don't recommend spraying any metal palettes. So you can see here the first color, they're calling it a white, but it's a little bit like a buff titanium. So the color range here is really lovely. You have a couple of neons, a couple of metallics. And so if you wanted to kind of start with these colors, and I'll show you some mixes and a couple of color palettes that I really like from this. And I think it's really good if you are starting and you're wanting just something a little bit more. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised with the colors. I do think you need to let them reconstitute a little bit like that with water before you use them. But having said that, once you've done that, they're quite creamy, and I actually applied them quite liberally on the paper there because I wasn't sure if they would lighten in color or how that would work, but they went surprisingly well. I think there's a little bit of like polymer or something in them. I don't know, it feels a little bit different, but it still performs really well like watercolor. So we're going into this traveler's notebook, and I have a full setup video for this over on Heirloom Luxe. And we're going to use this CD notebook. This is from Jet Pens. I really love just doing swatches and things in these notebooks. So you don't have to have the whole Traveler's notebook set up. You could just get one of these notebooks. It's not for watercolor, but I just really like swatching things in it and just trying things in it. So yeah. So as far as like having a little palette like this, if you're a beginner, it comes with everything you need, and even the watercolor paper. And then it also sort of gives you enough colors here to start to figure out which colors you like to use. And so I'm kind of creating here like a bit of a peach pop color as well from the neon orange and the white, or the buff titanium type color there. And then I'm mixing these with gold as well, but you'll start to kind of figure out which colors you like to gravitate towards, and then you could probably pull out some of the other colors there. And for example, like I feel like this is missing a bright pink, like an opera rose or something. You could pull out one of the colors you're not really using and just get a tube of that and squeeze some of that into the empty space there. So this, palette could become quite personalized and can grow with you if you choose to sort of grow and get some more artist quality paints, or it's just a really lovely palette as is. So I'm mixing a little bit of this Bordeaux type colour, or sort of a perilla maroon type colour, with the white sort of buff colour, and it's creating this really beautiful old rose colour. So we are going to just do a really, really quick, oh yeah, and I love this taupe colour as well. This is like a kind of a warm grey. I don't know, we did do some swatches and some kind of mixes of this type of a colour in the May favourite mixes video. So you can check that out, but if anyone knows of like a colour that comes kind of an artist grade colour that comes out of the tube like this. I'm not sure if one of the new Daniel Smith ones was like this, or if Sennelier has one, but just let us know in the comments. I think everyone would really appreciate that. And yeah, so I got so basically I am sort of rejigging the palettes here. So last year, I spent quite a bit of time on the black palette that you can see there, and I was really happy with it because I've got kind of my smaller favorites palette, and that's kind of everything I need. We'll go back to that story, but you can see here I'm just kind of so I'm gonna paint a really loose like rose in 30 seconds or less, and just kind of a side view here. So I'm starting with the first petal. I'm adding in a few of the top petals, a couple more side petals, and then we'll kind of fill out the top and the bottom there to sort of create that sort of the rose silhouette. So it's just a very quick rose, but you can see so I've got the favorites palette, and then the black one that I created was kind of like a more little bit more of a luxurious or like a specialty palette of the favorites one. So it had a bit more sumptuous. So like you have just the French ochre, which I love. So all my like working colors are in my favorites palette. But then like in that palette, I had the Earth Mineral Arts Shell Harp Light. So it's a little bit more of a specialty color, a bit of a luxury color. So yeah, I wanted to sort of just have a, and again, like that palette took me quite a long time to curate. It wasn't just something, So once I had done that, I was quite happy, and I just thought, okay, you know, I feel good about like the palettes that I have, and wasn't really looking to expand on that. I had a couple of smaller palettes and you know, like the little mini ones, and so I was quite happy with everything. And then I got a comment that said, you know, I love this, I can't wait to see what you do next year. And I thought, next year, I thought I was done. So I just kept thinking about it and thinking, you know, maybe there is more to explore. So I have been exploring, and like especially Peach Pop is one of my favorite colors that's come out of this year. So that's from Little Reverie Studio on Etsy, and she's also doing a giveaway at the minute for a beautiful wooden palette. So yeah, as the paint collection grows, and I do have some here, and there's a couple more packages that are kind of in transit somewhere there. I'm having them look into where they might be, but I think they're being held somewhere or something. They're supposed to be forwarded, but for international packages, they sit there for a month. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But once they're all here, the handmade palette paints will go into the aqua palette, and then the old Masters palette will become the black palette. So it's not going to be historically accurate, but it's more like paints that inspire me of that kind of old world feel. So I was just going to put them both into the black palette. So these are the Meeden enamel palettes off Amazon. So they're about $20. And but they go in and out of stock, so they'll be like in stock for a few weeks and then they'll sell out, and it could take 6 to 8 weeks to restock, and they hadn't restocked for probably a few months, and I was a bit worried that they may not restock. So I've been looking around, and I thought about getting a vintage timber. I know a lot of you like to, you know, be able to get what I show on the channel, so I wanted to get something off Amazon that was accessible, and then this one came up, and I thought I would give it a go because I thought if I didn't like it, you know, it's a nice one to be able to like gift along. But it turned out to be quite nice, and I think it'll work, and I'll be able to put a lot more colours in there. I'll be able to put some of the beam paints that I've wanted to kind of add into that palette as well in there. So I'll show you as it comes along, and I think what I'll just do is take that whole plastic part out so that I can still use that, or someone else can still use that, and keep that intact. But I think as far as if you're beginning, I mean, this is probably nicer than any of the sets that I started watercolor with. And you can see here like this beautiful palette, like I'm obsessed with just this palette, and it's just come out of this palette here. So it's got like the silver, which is like the Daniel Smith moonstone, and the iridescent copper. We have like the quinacridone magenta type color here. So, and then also the beautiful like taupe gray color there. So it's a really stunning color combinations can be made from in here. And I also used in the leaves like some olive colors, which were like the greenish raw umber that I really like from Daniel Smith. So there are some beautiful colors in here to start with, and the paints perform really nicely. So anyway, that is it for me for today, guys. I am getting some painting done, and I will see you soon. Bye.